Norma MacDonald and her grandson Brandon know the importance of their family's history. MacDonald's grandfather was William Davis, a striking coal miner who was shot and killed 100 years ago during a period of time known as the Coal Wars. Thousands of miners became locked in a bitter feud with the British Empire's Steel Corporation. They were fighting to eat and for their families to survive.
It was too bad it had to come to this, to rioting and shooting and everything. It just makes me wonder, how could somebody do that to a human being when he was just there trying to help his fellow miners?
In 1925, BESCO, as it was known, wanted to slash miners' wages by 20%. To ramp up the pressure, they cut workers' hours, stopped offering credit at company stores, and eventually shut off power and water to the town of New Waterford. With tensions mounting, the miners organized a protest. It took place here in New Victoria on June 11, 1925. An army of 1,200 miners marched towards the Waterford Lake power plant. There, they were met by a wall of armed police on horseback. The riders charged the line and began firing into the crowd. William Davis was fatally shot through the heart and 2 others injured. Former miner and museum tour guide Sheldon Guthrow says after that, the miners swore they would never work another June 11th.
Next year, when June the 11th rolled around, well, they didn't go to work. They went over to that town, and they all went to church, and they had a service for William Davis. And from that year on, every year, there's a service. Today it's called Miners' Memorial Day, but it started out as William Davis Day.
Davis's death and the Memorial Day in his honor triggered change towards better wages and working conditions.
That kind of paved the way for all the miners from that day on, that the unions now started to get a little recognition, and they started to negotiating contracts, and things got a lot better for us after that day.
Davis now rests at Union Grove Cemetery near New Waterford, where a monument marks his grave. Mining historian Steve Drake says Davis's funeral drew upwards of 5,000 people.
He was one of us, he was one of the boys, and someone did him in and did him dirty. That's how I think the miners felt about it then, because that's how I would feel about it today. And they came to respect one of their own, and I'm pretty proud of that. Oof.
In the days following the Waterford Lake riot, miners raided and burned company stores, getting rid of the long-standing symbols of corporate greed and servitude. Drake says no one was ever held responsible for Davis's death, but it changed history.
We made that a Memorial Day to remember everything. And I guess the catalyst for what we remember today is what happened to William Davis. That's part of his legacy.
2025 marks the 100th anniversary of Davis's death, but with each passing year, the Davis Day ceremony sees fewer coal miners in attendance.
I just hope his legacy will carry on, that he was a great man who fought for his fellow miners and lost his life because of it. But my hope is that the younger generation will make sure that it continues for a long time to come.
William Davis's great-great-grandson is among that younger generation. Brandon MacDonald says he plans to make sure Davis Day carries on so that people remember what his great-great-grandfather died for.
It shows that you have to do what you have to do in order to survive. He's showed that extreme strength to be able to go out and picket with all of his fellow miners. So showing that we need to fight for what we believe in.
And it was a fight that changed everything, marking the beginning of a new era in Canada's labour relations policies. Erin, Pottie, CBC News, New Waterford.